afternoon. The news bulletin with Albert Njembonde. The Vatican Secretary of State has underscored peace, justice and truth as the principal missions of the Vatican to the world. His Eminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin underscored the message in a discourse today at the Yaoundé campus of the Catholic University of Central Africa. The senior Vatican officials entreated the Vatican, the varsity community and Cameroonians as well to cultivate humanity without frontiers. A high-level delegation of members of government is in Meri in the far north region, where the Minister of Youth and Civic Education is about now launching activities building up to the 55th edition of the Youth Day. Mununa Futsu has enjoined the youth to respect government barrier measures against the COVID-19 and take advantage of programs and projects put in place by President Paul Biya to improve on their welfare. The Minister of Territorial Administration is expected in the minutes ahead in Sancho, in the Menua division of the West region, where an accident leading to the death of many Cameroonians occurred in the night of the 26th, breaking the 27th of January. The death toll following that tragedy has risen to 55. Minister Paula Tanganji is due to place a commemorative plaque to remind all road users of the tragedy, as a way to also encourage Cameroonians to exercise caution while using the road. The 8th session of the Technical Committee of the General Census of Agriculture and Livestock is underway in Yaoundé under the chairmanship of the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Mbairobe. The session will work on improving data to enable government make strategic choices for the development of agro-pastoral and fisheries activities in Cameroon. One of the two persons injured in a bomb blast yesterday in Bepanda, Douala, has died in hospital. 25-year-old Eugene Afili succumbed to his wounds at the Douala General Hospital, while Duatange Valentine has been placed on intensive health care. Eugene Afili was a student of the Department of Economic Sciences in the University of Douala. Both men are suspected to have been fabricating a bomb when the locally made device exploded. Investigators found 20 batteries for motorbikes, alarms and other parts in the house where the incident took place. You are listening to the CRTV Radio News. Ugandan opposition politician Bobby Wine has filed a legal challenge against the outcome of last month's presidential election, which he says was rigged. A lawyer for the musician turned MP's party, the National Unity Platform, said they wanted the poll to be rerun. Incumbent Yoweri Museveni, who came to power in 1986, won the election with 58% of the votes. Myanmar's military has seized power after detaining civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other senior members of her governing party this Monday morning. The coup follows a landslide win by Ms. Aung San Suu Kyi's party in an election which the army claims was marred by fraud. A statement from the military says all authority had been given to the top army commander and a one-year state of emergency has been declared. Myanmar, also known as Burma, was ruled by the armed forces until 2011, when democratic reform spearheaded by Aung San Suu Kyi ended military rule. In sports, Cameroon's intermediate football team will clash with the Atlas Lions of Morocco in the semis of the 2020 African Nations Football Championship, the CHAN. Morocco spanked Zambia 3-1 in the quarterfinals on Sunday at the Douala Reunification Stadium. In the other semi-final fixture, Guinea, who overpowered Tanzania 1-0, will lock horns with Mali in a West African clash. In the meantime, Cameroon's under-20 men's football team is in Morocco as the side continues gearing up ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations that will be played from the 14th of February to the 6th of March in Mauritania. Cameroon's under-20 men's team are pitted against the host Mauritania, Uganda, and Mozambique in Pool A of the tourney. That does it for the news bulletin with Albert Njembonde. But the afternoon edition continues with Anchor Lady Manka Ambe. Good afternoon.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Washing our hands regularly will save lives.
CRT this afternoon edition.
We set the pace. CRTV's afternoon edition.
Connecting people.
You're welcome back. The Vatican Secretary of State has reiterated the core values of peace, justice, and the truth for humanity without discrimination as the missions of the Church. His Eminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin raised the issues in a discourse delivered today at the Yaoundé campus of the Catholic University of Central Africa as part of his pastoral visit. Joti Muncho Nchusheko props into the essence of the public lecture.
Hinged on the theme, the diplomacy of the Holy See, the guest speaker, Pedro Cardinal Parolin, pinpointed peace, justice and the truth as the essence of the Church from time immemorial. He underlined three principles: doctrine, animation or orientation, plus action as the holistic training of the Church to mold a man, body and soul. Pedro Cardinal Parolin opined that human solidarity is a key component, quoting Pope Francis, who reaffirmed that human solidarity is such that we have to show concern for the fragility of fellow human beings. Fraternity, discipline, social justice should be embraced from the teaching of the Church for humanity to build and sustain peace, the Vatican official stated. In his opinion, it is barely through the putting of the teaching of the Church into practice that human dignity and the joy for which God created man can be achieved. His Eminence, Pedro Cardinal Parolin, disclosed that it is within the teaching of the Vatican to construct a culture of humanity without frontiers.
Joti Muncho reporting. The message delivered by His Eminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin aroused reflections within the community of the Catholic University of Central Africa in Yaoundé and beyond. Patience Wingo in the following opinion survey got the reactions of some students and varsity dons.
The academic discourse presented this Monday by His Eminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin at the Yaoundé Catholic University of Central Africa has been described by students of the institution as pertinent, coherent and educative. Clovis Komalo says it was very rich in terms of the support the Catholic Church gives to strange happenings around the world and applause to his mastery of theology.
From the discourse, we see that the Church has been following the activities that is going on in the world and in Africa in particular. He talked about the social encyclicals in the Church, which are 11, and Fraternity of Pope Francis is the latest of the encyclicals. And he said the Church goes towards reconciliation, justice and peace.
Jukam Fokam Karim says she was moved by the tips on morality dished out by the prelate.
We should be a good person, practice good things, love humanity. We should take coronavirus seriously, practice the measures about that.
The rector of the Catholic University of Central Africa, Professor Jean-Bertrand Salah, sees the academic discourse as a milestone for the institution.
When that lecture is led or given by a higher personality of the Holy See, like the Cardinal Secretary of State, after him it will wait only the Pope himself. In 30 years of existence, it is the first time that Catholic University of Central Africa welcomed the higher level personality of the Holy See.
The Vatican Secretary of State, Pietro Cardinal Parolin, also urged the students to continue to respect the barrier measures prescribed by government to counter the spread of COVID-19.
Patient Wingo reporting. The Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education has implored youths to uphold citizenship values while respecting barrier measures against the COVID-19. Mr. Mununa Futsu made the appeal in Miri in the Far North region today while launching activities in the build-up to the celebration of the 55th edition of Youth Day to be celebrated on February 11, 2021. Sylvester Temkem picks up that story from Miri.
The high-level interministerial delegation, including Ministers Issa Churuma Bakari of Employment and Vocational Training, Ashi Basilican of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Ibrahim Taba Mala of Public Contracts, among other personalities, present at the launch of the 55th Youth Day activities is eloquent proof of government's concerns about the welfare of the youths. The Mayor of Meri sees in the choice of his municipality for the event another mark of inclusive development by President Paul Biya. Meanwhile, prior to the solemn launch, a minute of silence was observed in memory of victims of the 27th January road accident. In his launching statement, the Minister of Youth and Civic Education edified the public on the theme, which emphasized on the challenges posed by the coronavirus and the responsibility of youths like other citizens to protect themselves and others against the pandemic. Nonuna Fusu enjoined the future leaders to make judicious use of materials offered to them by the government and also available themselves of programs and projects put in place for their welfare. While encouraging the youth to uphold moral rectitude and civil status, the members of government encourage ex-associates of Boko Haram to use the start-up assistance for their socio-economic reinsertion. The ceremony in Meri was attended by the Youth Connect Ambassador Asin Stefan Tema Biwole and the National President of the Cameroon National Youth Council, Fadimatu Iyawa Usmanu. Meri, Sylvester Temkeng, CRTV.
Commemorative activities to mark this year's Youth Day revolve around the theme Youth, Resilience, Challenges and Opportunities in Times of COVID-19. The theme launches a clarion call for the youth to stay head above water level in spite of the difficulties, giving in their best to build the nation. Doris Batetato-Ekwe.
The 55th edition of the Youth Day is a great opportunity for the youth of Cameroon, who represent nearly 60% of the country's total population, to reflect on their participation in the major challenges facing the nation. This year's Youth Day, which will be celebrated within the context of the global health crisis linked to COVID-19, sees the Cameroonian youth called up to stand up in a block against the pandemic by respecting government barrier measures and encouraging others to do so. Faced with other challenges like unemployment, the security crisis, and other social unrest in certain parts of the country, it is incumbent on the youth to reflect on how they can surmount these challenges and show their attachment to the values of the Republic, expressing their love for their mother country in concrete patriotic terms. They are therefore being mobilized to take advantage of the post-major national dialogue effects with the acceleration of decentralization and get involved fully. Also, the youth are expected to participate in the national construction effort for the emergence of the country by 2035, get fully immersed in the National Development Strategy Vision 2020-2030 as they explore avenues in the 3-year Special Youth Plan and other youth-oriented projects like the Youth Connect initiative. The nation will, for the next 10 days, celebrate the Cameroonian youth, exalting their achievements, victories, and prowess in the fields of agriculture, green and digital economy, sports, politics, culture, science, and technology, to name but these.
Doris Batetato-Ekwe reporting. Credible information on the country's agro-pastoral sector will henceforth be made available to government and development partners by the Technical Committee of the General Census of Agriculture and Livestock. The committee, chaired by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Gabriel Bairobe, in the presence of his peer from the Ministry of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industry, Dr. Tiger, will disseminate information on agriculture, livestock, aquaculture, and fisheries. Belinda Shaw reports. Cameroon's agricultural census was last archived in 1984. Ever since then, the country has an outdated current system of agropastoral statistics showing an acute deficit in quality data. Some of the reasons for the deficit, namely lack of structural data, poor integration and dissemination of existing data, insufficient skills in the production of agropastoral statistics in the agriculture and livestock sectors, hinder access to credible data. As such, it is difficult for the government and stakeholders in the rural sector to make strategic choices, plan, develop and evaluate agropastoral and fisheries activities. The General Census of Agriculture and Livestock, established by decree of the President in 2015, holding in its 8th session, will provide relevant information at regional, divisional, subdivisional and community levels on the agropastoral farms and their environments. It also seeks to build operational and technical skills of statisticians in the Ministry of Agriculture and that of Livestock. More so, a general census of agriculture and livestock will also set up a permanent and integrated system for the collection and production of agropastoral statistic data, enabling a good knowledge of the agriculture, livestock and aquaculture sectors as well as their evolution. The outcome of the 8th session will be to strengthen the dissemination of information on 4 sectors, namely agriculture, livestock, aquaculture and fisheries, villages and communities. Belinda Show reporting. Students in the Far North region have been encouraged to use the 2 official languages in their daily conversations and activities. The Far North Regional Delegate for Secondary Education, Pierre Wangbusun, was speaking during the official launch of the National Bilingualism Week in the Far North region. Henry Tato reports from CRTV Far North.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Here is the bilingual news read by Asta.
Students of GHS Makabai presenting a newscast as one of the activities marking the official launch of the National Bilingualism Week in the Far North region. The event, which unfolded at the Abu Daoud College, was an occasion for students to demonstrate their engagement to promote bilingualism.
Le Cameroun du Nord au Sud vibre au rythme du bilinguisme.
Our country is bilingual. We must know how to speak English and French too.
I listen music in English. I discuss with my friend in English. I do many things in English. All this help me to learn English.
For the regional coordinator in charge of bilingualism, Gemo John, bilingualism is on the move in this part of the country.
How do you speak to somebody in English in the Far North without the person responding to you? Which means that at the level of schools and even at the level of the society, there's an effort to speak the second official language.
The regional delegate for secondary education, Pierre Wamboso, used the occasion to harp on the values of bilingualism. The launching ceremony also gives way to other activities to be carried out in various schools in the Far North region. Marua, Henry Tatawekambi, CLTV News.
The 6th edition of the African Nations Football Championship SHAN. The special thoughts on the news.
Welcome back to our sports package. Cameroon's intermediate football team will clash with Morocco in the semis of the 2020 African Nations Football Championship at the Limbe Omnisport Stadium. Both sides have had diverse fortunes in the build-up to the semis, but games between both teams have always turned out to be crackers. And in the following write-up, sports editor Njeno Ebai says Wednesday game will be no exception to the rule.
When Cameroon clash with Morocco this Wednesday in the semis, it will be a power tussle between twin repelling poles in African football. Morocco headed into the SHAN with the toga of the super favorites, and their enchanting run to the Final Four has seen them ranked the most likely side to scoop the competition's trophy. 9 goals in 4 games for the Atlas Lions has seen them gain in confidence and ambitions. Their high-octane football inspired by a crew of talented players, amongst them Ayub El Kabi, SHAN's all-time leading scorer, who has surprisingly not lived up to his reputation with just 2 goals in 4 games, is telling of the squad depth. The intermediate Lions of Cameroon, on the other hand, aren't accustomed to flamboyant football, but it is their drive to getting things done that gives them an edge over their opponents. The Lions do not possess in their crew the competition's most gifted players, yet their ability to do the dog walk and stifle their opponents is a quality fewer sides possess. Coach Ntungumpile's ability to rotate his squad yet maintain the results translates to a side whose resolve for a ticket in the final is telling. It is hard to pinpoint precisely when the idea of winning a maiden Shan title was started, and even more difficult to comprehend when it took shape, but there is now a collective commitment amongst the Cameroonians to lift the Shan trophy come February 7, and this shouldn't be taken for granted.
By reporting. The Intermediate Lions are confident that they will defeat Morocco in Wednesday encounter at the Limbe Omisport Stadium. Alphonse Abongo Achu captured the reaction of the defender Joel Boom, who now gives their state of readiness.
Douala is the best for real because we are grateful and we say thank you. Football is in the field. You don't say football in a pitch down here. Once you feel you can say you're strong. You should believe in us and will not disappoint them.
Head coach Martin Tungumpile also spoke to Alphonse Abongo Atu and calls on the population of Limbe to stand by them in the encounter against Morocco. Take a listen.
I want to thank the people of Douala because we have got the qualification. I'm very, very happy. So when we reach the semi-finals, the main object is to attend the final. So I'm going to Limbe to play a very good game and to get the qualification for the final. We're going to train 2 days, maybe to perfect the aspect of training, and then after we're going to play the game. I expect the people of Limbe to be very, very many people, then to support the team, as for the public of Douala.
The head coach of the Intermediate Lions, Martin Tungumpile, talking to Alphonse Abongo. An exciting, bustling, fun-packed atmosphere and deep sense of patriotism is cutting across the city of Limbe and the southwest region in general as the population awaits the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon for their semi-final duel against the Intermediate Atlas Lions of Morocco. Both teams will clash at the Limbe Omisport Stadium on Wednesday, February 3rd at 8 p.m. Cameroon time. In the build-up to that cracker, our reporter Walter Wilson Dana has been crisscrossing the city of Limbe and got the following reactions. Take a listen.
Yes, we love the Lions. It's our national team. We want them to win, to take this chance. We love football. It's our country. We want the Lions to win. Everybody knows that Cameroon has qualified. They will come to Limbe and play. So we are waiting. Everybody will be there. They are mobilizing. We love football and we're sure Cameroon will win the cup.
We are preparing to welcome the Indomitable Lions so that they should come and perform. If they can send it to the next level, we will be very, very happy. So we are ready to welcome them. All my brothers and sisters, I'm telling them that on that day, we should be at the Omisport Stadium to watch everything from the starting to the end. I'm glad to welcome all my brothers and sisters.
We are so amazed, so glad to see them today. We are waiting for them impatiently. We are just from the field. We wanted to buy our tickets, but they told us that the tickets will be available from tomorrow. We'll get our tickets, wear our face mask, wear our jersey to go and support them at the field. So we are so happy. I'm calling all of them massively to go come and join us to go and support the Lions because it's our team, it's our country. We are all Lions. We have the Lions spirit. Go on.
I'm preparing very, very seriously for the Lions, and I know with God we are going to take the cup. I will go to the stadium with my family, with my colleagues. Everybody will be there to watch the match and to see how the Lion is going to win the match. We are going to give 3-0.
Okay, we look forward to the match with a lot of optimism. Meanwhile, staff of the Cameroon Radio Television working at the Douala Japoma site at the ongoing Chan tournament have been saluted for their professionalism in the execution of their different tasks so far. The Deputy Director General of the CRTV, Emmanuel Wongibe, made the remark during a working session with them as he also called for teamwork and discipline. Rene Kache reports from Japoma.
It was frank talk between the Assistant Director General of CRTV and his collaborators stationed to work at the Douala Japoma site during the Shan tournament. Emmanuel Wongibe came to evaluate work done so far, to exchange with journalists, technicians and others who are implicated in this dress rehearsal for the 2021 AFCON. Mr. Wongibe expressed satisfaction with the manner in which work is going on and stressed on the importance of teamwork and discipline. It was a platform for everyone to express difficulties encountered in the execution of their different tasks, lessons learned, and to make proposals that will enhance productivity. Mr. Wongibe addressed the different challenges raised by his collaborators one by each, while assuring that top management will give immediate attention to them. Praise and song, Rene Kache, CRTV News, the Japoma Stadium in Douala.
The 6th edition of the African Nations Football Championship (CHAN). That was the special thought on the news.
And before we end the news, the Vatican Secretary of State, His Eminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin, has urged Cameroonians to cultivate the culture of peace as a way of bringing humanity to speak the same language. Following claims of unaddressed electoral fraud, the military has ceased power in Myanmar. And in sports, the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon will this Wednesday play its first ever semi-finals of the African Nations Football Championship after beating DR Congo 2-1. That's the end of CRTV this afternoon edition, presented by me, Manka Ambe. Jembonde Albert read the news bulletin, and with me in the studio for a presentation of the news summary in the French language is Daniel Sopo. Hello Daniel.
Hello Manka, bon après-midi à tous. La diplomatie pontificale œuvre quotidiennement pour une paix stable, pour la solidarité et pour une coopération sincère. À propos de son éminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin, le secrétaire d'État près du Vatican a donné ce matin au campus de l'Université catholique d'Afrique centrale une leçon magistrale sur la diplomatie vaticane. Message apprécié et très bien accueilli par la communauté académique. Semaine nationale du bilinguisme, le lancement officiel de l'édition 2021 a été officiellement lancé ce jour à Banganté, département d'une des régions de l'Ouest. La cérémonie était présidée par le ministre des Enseignements secondaires. Le professeur Nalova Lyonga a milité pour une offre abondante des établissements bilingues au Cameroun. Cette année encore, la jeunesse camerounaise est célébrée. C'était l'occasion de la 55e édition de la fête de la jeunesse, dont le lancement a lieu à Mairie, dans la région du Nord. Jeunesse résiliente, défis et opportunités en temps de Covid-19. C'est le thème de la célébration de la journée camerounaise, un thème qui interpelle la jeunesse sur les crises que traverse le Cameroun et la capacité qu'a la jeunesse de surmonter ces épreuves et se projeter dans l'avenir. À l'étranger, coronavirus en France, malgré les menaces du gouvernement, la grogne monte dans certains secteurs d'activité durement éprouvés par le confinement qui dure. Ce lundi, le gouvernement annonce le renforcement des contrôles et des sanctions. Objectif décourager ceux qui seraient tentés de désobéir, à l'exemple des restaurateurs dont les établissements ne peuvent recevoir des clients depuis le mois d'octobre, après un printemps déjà perturbé par le premier confinement. En sport, championnat d'Afrique des nations de football, place aux demi-finales. Les Lions A' seront ce mercredi au Limbe Omnisport Stadium face au Maroc. Les poulains de Martin Touroumpilé en route pour la région du Sud-Ouest se disent prêts à offrir un match d'exception au public camerounais et ainsi obtenir le ticket pour la finale. Ce sera donc une bataille de fauves entre les Lions A' du Cameroun et les Lions de l'Atlas locaux du Maroc, détenteur du trophée. L'autre rencontre de ces demi-finales opposera le Mali à la Guinée au complexe sportif de Japoma à Douala lorsqu'il sera 16h. Mesdames, Messieurs, c'est tout pour le condensé des nouvelles. Merci d'avoir suivi. Restez à l'écoute des programmes de la CRTV qui se poursuivent.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.